Nice piece of shit.
He gonna shit when he realizes it's shit.
Light it.
This priest barber is one of those flaming bags again. Call the fire department. This one's out of control. And poop again.
Recently came across the movie Am I Racist? And this movie is an absolute pile of shit. I came across it watching some other videos about political stuff, and it talked about the political side of the movie. But the actual movie itself is just one steaming pile of shit.
He gonna shit when he realizes it's shit.
The lame attempts at what are supposed to be jokes are just cringy and fucking awkward.
I'm Steven. Pronouns, I'll have to get back to you on that.
The people involved, you just fucking feel bad for them.
I don't feel comfortable.
What? Can you guys catch me up to speed on what's going on here?
You don't need to be caught up. We're gonna be silent.
And the documentary star, like, the only thing he does is just annoy people.
I'm not going to solve racism in this conversation, but we can all agree that you guys have some things to learn.
I feel like you're the most racist person I've ever talked to.
Like, the whole premise of this movie is to make fun of the DEI initiatives that were being implemented and all the different kind of workshops to not be racist and include everybody. But he pretty much just makes himself look fucking stupid. Like, it's like he had the idea to create a Borat-style kind of movie.
Borat. Nice to meet you.
But he was just way too fucking scared to commit to the bit.
Made a sexy time with my mother-in-law.
You had sex with your mother-in-law?
Yes.
But he already received the money, so he had to make something.
He gonna shit when he realizes it's shit.
And that cowardice is undoubtedly what fucking killed this movie.
I don't think that Americans would find that funny.
No, it is not a joke.
I'm not an expert in comedy or writing or anything like that. I'm just an asshole with a ton of opinions and an even more obsessive urge to ramble about them. But what Matt clearly doesn't understand about comedy is that in order to succeed in comedy, you gotta have jokes and they gotta be funny.
And then we'll laugh. High five.
In the first minute, he actually is kind of funny. Like, he goes on this morning show, and, he's sitting there and he's talking about doing stuff, and he stands up with the anchors.
Do all do it together?
Yeah, do we stand?
Yeah, we stand for it.
Okay.
It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. I start every day like this. So what you're doing is you're stretching, and this is more for you and less for you. But you're stretching up like this, and you're stretching out. And what you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. Okay, so you're decentering your whiteness. You're stretching out of your whiteness.
That got me a little chuckle, but it was very generous. And then it goes, the movie opens up and stuff, and I gotta say, the music, it's not terrible. Like, there's infinitely better music out there, but when you're comparing the music to the rest of the fucking movie, I'll just shut off the fucking screen and just listen to the music.
I don't think you necessarily can. The reason we cannot be colorblind now is because we're still working on the problem.
Do the work, do the work. Let go of your white privilege, do the work, do the work, do the work. If you wanna stop being racist, do the work, do the work, do the work. If you wanna stop being racist, do the work.
After the credits, Matt's sitting in a diner, and this waitress walks up to him. And of course, she's black, because, the movie, it's called Am I Racist? So why bother, taking time to create an actual situation in which somebody would question racism? When instead, it's just the waitress asking about his coffee, and he's just like...
Coffee?
Yes, thank you.
How do you take it?
Oh my god, is it racist if I tell her I want black coffee? Well, you know what? If you're sitting there wrestling with a thought like that, you probably fucking are. One of the biggest issues I take with this fucking mockumentary is that Matt is attempting to portray a caricature of the very kind of people he's trying to make fun of. But the problem is, he can't empathize with these people enough to adequately make fun of them. So he ends up just coming off as an idiot. He interrupts people.
dig a little bit.
I'm sorry, I forgot one other thing I wanted to promise the Black community.
It's really important that we don't interrupt each other during the group, but I appreciate it.
I had one other promise.
Yeah.
Which, it could be funny, but he just ends up bumbling like he forgot what the fuck he was gonna say. The irony is, if he would have actually leaned into the whole Borat style of making this movie...
Do you ever laugh on people with a retardation?
Here in America, we try not to make fun of or be funny with things that people don't choose.
But
and acted more like a racist, he actually would have been funnier. Like, the comedy would have just written itself. But Matt's too afraid to commit to the bit.
go and say, you will never get this, you will never get this, la 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 la.
Throughout the movie, Matt sits down with various experts in the field of racism for interviews, similar to the kind you'd find on The Daily Show.
Infatuation with Putin.
Well, I think he has a fascination with authoritarian leaders generally. I think Trump would like to be a big guy, but I don't think he's smart enough to be a dictator.
So is Trump, what's the term, an idiot?
Well, I think Rex Tillerson had the iconic two-word description of Trump. The first word I won't repeat even on your show, the second of which was moron.
Okay, I'll throw it in there.
That's pretty much on point. That's
Yes,
right.
a moron.
Right.
Can a moron still be a useful idiot?
I think the answer to that's yes, and I think Vladimir Putin understands it.
If you're unfamiliar, The Daily Show is a news show that airs on Comedy Central, and they deliver the news in a more comedic fashion, which I, for one, would love to see more journalism done this way. But that's a perfect world and all. You can clearly tell that Matt Walsh watched a few of these interviews and was just like, I could totally do that, and then forgot his book full of jokes at home. Instead, we're treated to a cringe-fest conversations, one of which culminates in actual extortion.
Did you want to pay any?
That was really weird.
Why was it weird?
That just seemed really weird to me.
Why?
Because you just took out your wallet, and I don't know, because I think reparations is like a systemic.
It's not, because I'm not waiting for the system. Yeah. I'm acting as an individual.
I can go get some cash for sure. You might, yeah.
So, there's that. But never more have I just wanted to fucking headbutt my screen until the void opened up. One of the best parts of this movie actually comes at Matt's own expense. After spending however long annoying the fuck out of what I can only assume are reasonable people, they actually realize who he is. Which, if you're unaware, Matt Walsh is a conservative political author and commentator and all-around pain in the ass, as he proudly displays throughout this movie. After Matt comes back in from collecting himself, the instructor of the group asks him his name, which is Steven.
Yeah.
Remind me of your name again.
Steven.
Steven? Yeah? Okay.
But he already forgot. So he's immediately called the fuck out and told to leave.
I would really appreciate it if you left so that the people who actually want to be here and deserve to be here can get what they need.
I do want to be
Can
here.
you please leave?
Which they're like super polite. They're just like, can you please just go, like, get out of here.
Can you please leave?
But they ended up calling the cops on him. I'm not entirely sure why. He conveniently just kind of doesn't have any possible footage. But somehow this exposure convinces him that he needed a better disguise. His idea, just a shitty fucking wig. This is missed opportunity incarnate. When you put on a disguise, you're trying to conceal your identity. And especially for him, he's trying to infiltrate a group. Like, that's the most critical thing. He could have done so much to disguise himself. He could have shaved his fucking beard, wore some crazy colored hair, even put on women's clothing, fucking anything to just hide. But, you know, similar to the lack of Borat commitment, he just put on some tighter pants and made himself look even more like a dumbass. But he's got a man bun now, so he's invisible. Shocker, he still sucks shit. There's so much more that happens in this fucking shit heap of a movie, but the brain bleed it's giving me is starting to take its toll.
I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, I'm blah blah blah.
So I'm gonna wrap this up before I devolve into the same dribbling caveman this kind of garbage is marketed towards. Like, holy fuck, guys. I get that not every movie is gonna align with your values. That's totally cool. But for the love of all things fuckery, can we at least have some standards when it comes to comedy? Please, I'm begging you. A single joke that doesn't feel like a cry for help.
Tell us about your journey.
We just did a workshop. You know, it didn't go well, honestly. I think it's doing more harm than good. This whole thing's a scam. I don't know.
A punchline that doesn't make me question my entire existence. Is that too much to ask?
Well,
Thank you.
I didn't consent to be touched.
In conclusion, I'm more disappointed in this movie than my dad is in my existence.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Let me tell you, that's a new low. Matt Walsh, you took a swing at woke culture and somehow ended up shooting yourself in the foot with a rocket launcher while screaming, "I'm woke!" It's like you tried to make a comedy, but instead you gave birth to an ungodly abomination that should have been buried in the backyard.
Poop again!
You really should have taken a few lessons in comedy, Matt. Maybe watch a few fucking movies, like, I don't know, ones with actual jokes in them. I mean, shit, pull your head out of your ass for once. You set out to make a film poking fun at DEI and woke culture and somehow managed to turn yourself into the punchline. How did you do that, Matt? How does a grown adult who clearly has no concept of satire or irony manage to fail this fucking hard?
You know, it didn't go well, honestly. I think it's doing more harm than good. This whole thing's a scam.
You're like the guy who shows up at the party and spends the whole time loudly announcing that he's funny while no one's even sure if you're a human or just a malfunctioning blender. The most infuriating part about this whole train wreck is that you had so much potential to actually be funny. The people you're trying to mock, they're the exact kind of folks that you could have played off of. Hell, you could have just played yourself, you know, like a racist idiot, and that would have worked instead. But you took the coward's route, tiptoeing around the truth, and failed spectacularly at being even remotely entertaining. Instead of leaning in and committing, you chose the let's make everything awkward method. And you know what? That shit doesn't work. Not in 2025, not in any year, ever. Film critics, yeah, they're gonna look back at this movie like it's the shining example of what not to do in a mockumentary. Seriously, it's like a masterclass in failure. It's pretty hard to mock something you don't even understand, Matt. But you went ahead and you did it anyway, somehow turning your lack of understanding into a fucking art form. Bravo, dipshit.
I feel like you're the most racist person I've ever talked to.